Andy Johnson. This is the Reading Instruction Show. We're talking about reading fluency today, and this is just part one. So let us define our terms first. The ability to quickly recognize words during the process of reading. That is reading fluency. It has to do with speed of processing. The ability to automatically recognize words, why this is important is because it frees up space in short-term memory that can then be devoted to word recognition and comprehension. Now, standardized reading rates, norm reference oral reading rates, these are very questionable. They should not be used for comparison, because reading different texts for different purposes asks us or calls for us to read at different rates. Fast reading is not good reading. There are times when we want to read slowly. And fluency, how fast, how fluent you're able to read anything, depends on the text structure, your knowledge of content, and vocabulary. These will all impact your fluency or reading rates. And fluency is not comprehension. Often, with difficult text, we have to reread it. We have to read it more slowly. There are times when we want students to slow down. We want them to use cognitive skills and strategies and carefully process the information. So it's not just words per minute or reading rate. And with narrative text, we want students to use the least amount of text information to enjoy the story. So yes, words per minute, reading rate, yes, it's a thing, but it is a misuse of reading rates or words per minute to expect that all students be reading at a specific norm reference rate by the end of school years. These are just kind of approximations, but really they don't make much sense. Take these with a very, very big grain of salt. We can use, however, words per minute to set initial baselines and use this to set goals and benchmarks based on this. We can also use fluency rates for progress monitoring, but only if fluency is one of the deficit areas. And remember, there are 3 deficit areas for reading: word recognition, fluency, comprehension. Not all struggling readers are deficit in all 3 areas. Some have deficits in just 1, maybe 2, or all 3. All struggling readers are not the same. And fluency is not a constant. For example, read this paragraph, 110 words. Read it out loud, and you can stop the video here. Okay, I'm going to have you read paragraph 2, the same 110 words. Read it aloud. Away drove and car, his in jumped, could he as fast as ran. All right, you get the idea. The first paragraph makes sense. The second one doesn't. There were differences in reading rate, how fast you could read it, the quality of reading. You read it very choppy, and your eye movement. The second one, your eye movements went like this. The first one went like that. And prosody, which we will explain in just a minute. So words per minute reading rate provides an incomplete picture of reading. Now let's unpack this, do a little unpackerating. Reading with expression and prosody. Like many of the academic standards, the Common Core state standards related to reading are ignorance-based versus evidence-based. For example, this is a Common Core state standard for grade level 5. Read grade level prose and poetry orally with accuracy, appropriate rate, and expression on successive readings, says the Common Core state standards. Okay, let's unpackerate that. Well, expression. Reading rate, again, will vary depending on a number of variables. We'll say that again, all right? Accuracy we'll call correct word identification, will vary as well. But word reading accuracy is different from fluency. It should not be word reading accuracy included in measures of fluency because it's different from fluency. Word reading accuracy represents surface structure, not deep meaning. And reading with expression in your adult life, when has that been important unless you are in the theater? When has reading with expression been important? When has it impacted your ability to comprehend anything? Reading with expression is not important, but prosody is. Prosody is essentially, simple idea here, is when oral reading sounds like speaking, correct timing, emphasis, inflection. It shows that the reader recognizes phrases in an idea, as opposed to unprosodic reading, which is choppy word by word reading with a robotic voice, kind of like you read paragraph 2. To develop reading fluency, first, no round robin reading should ever be used. It stinks. Do not use round robin reading or popcorn reading. That's when you go around the room and one person reads a paragraph or a section, because this does not reflect reading reality. I've yet to go into a library and see people sitting around a kidney-shaped table reading something aloud. It generates negative emotions, anxiety, tension, humiliation, which impacts learning and impacts learning to read. And when you're doing this round robin reading, meaning is sacrificed for decoding accuracy. You're so afraid of making mistakes, you're looking only at the surface structure. And round robin reading does not work. It does not improve word recognition, fluency, comprehension at all. Alternatives: partner reading, read with a buddy. And I like this because as their partner reading, you can walk around and you can listen. Silent reading, absolutely silent reading is just fine. But people say, well, how do you know if they're comprehending what they read if they're reading silently? There are other places to measure comprehension. You don't have to measure and assess everything. How do you know if students are reading the selection you say? Watch their eyeballs. That will tell you. What if they don't know? No. What if they don't read the selection? Well, you can watch their eyeballs as well. ERT, everyone read to. Read a passage, paragraph. Everyone read to paragraph 3. Stop, and then you can ask questions. Or read every other. You read. They read silently. Teacher read aloud. They read silently. Scaffolded oral reading, that provides a scaffold, and I've described that other place. Choral reading and echo reading. All right, this is just part 1 of reading fluency, and I provided an overview here.